Okay, today we continue with our class Shabbos Kitchen. Today's class number 2. Okay. And we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon. And today's topic is choose your company. And it says, one should avoid association with a given group unless he knows that its members are careful to avoid forbidden speech. So basically, if you know that somebody, like there is a group of people, friends, relatives, colleagues, and they're going to speak Haloshon haram, bad about other people, so you're not allowed to be there. Okay. If circumstances demand such association, one should limit it to a minimum and maintain silence whenever possible. So basically, if you're in office and there is some work environment and you have nowhere to go. Okay. So basically, in this case, just keep silence and as less as possible. So I think headphones play a very big role today. Just put on your headphones and that's it. Even once a sinner can ruin the entire group and make it necessary to avoid being in its company. So I mean, even one sinner. So it's not like the whole group is wicked, but even one sinner is enough to ruin the whole company. So just because other people are good does not allow us to be there. Okay. Second. Right, so let's continue. Sefer Rosh Hakiva writes, be alert, my son, regarding that which Olam HaBa said, in ears of fool do not speak, lest he disparage the wisdom of your words. Mishlei 23:9. So basically, what is the point to share this wisdom with the fool? They do not understand. Beware of the gathering of the 100 men, among whom is found even one scoffer or fool. It's very interesting. So all of them are gathering 100 of men, among whom are found even one scoffer or fool. And certainly, if one of the fools is a wise man, one of the fools is a wise man in his own eyes. Okay, so all of the people, all of the fools are wise in their own eyes, right? And he is quintessential fool. Okay, so let's see. There's a note. What is quintessential fool? A fool who considers himself wise has no hope to acquire wisdom, and thus is the greatest fool of all. So it's very, very, very important statement what we just read. So I'm going to read again and I'm going to explain. A fool who is considered himself wise has no hope of acquiring wisdom, and thus is a greater fool of all. So basically, this person has no chance. And same concept is applied to Teshuva. Some people, you can talk to them, you can reason with them, you can argue with them, you can bring them proof and spend time, but for other people, I mean, it's even 1 minute is too much to waste. Why? Because they consider that they are righteous and they know what they're doing, and basically the world is revolving around them. So these people have no hope, unfortunately. Surrender yourself to sit in silence at such a gathering. Do not discuss anything at all. I mean, one more time, we're talking about the situation when one is forced. But usually, I'm not sure. In I don't know, maybe in the olden times, maybe, I don't know, like everybody's free. Just stand up and leave. I need to go to the bathroom. And you never come back. Even if we'll ask all sorts of the wisdom, they are scoffers and fools, will be best for you to grant your disgrace. Just one more time, sorry. Even if you will speak all sorts of wisdom, so you want to bring them closer, right? You're going to tell them the Torah. The scoffer and fools, will best you right? And grant you disgrace. So, I mean, just because you think that you're going to tell them some wisdom and some amazing facts that they're going to listen to, it's don't be naive, right? As it is written, iniquity appears and disgrace follows. Iniquity appears and disgrace follows. It's also from Mishnah. Okay. If you wish to converse at such gathering with a man like you, like yourself, be careful that your words not reach the scoffer's ears. So if you want to talk to one-on-one to somebody, there are always decent people, right? So you can. Thus does the scripture advise, in the ears of the fool do not speak. So basically make sure that other people do not hear, because they're going to make fun of you. Rather than do not speak with a fool. Okay. So basically, it's very interesting. In the ears of the fool, do not speak. Meaning, you're not talking to him. You're talking maybe a little louder, and he can overhear you. That's the issue. Okay, so let's stop here. All right, so we continue the Shabbos kitchen. And we, Baruch HaShem, we got up to chapter 2. So let's see. So chapter 2 about kitchen is, of course, cooking, as we guessed. Okay. Number 1, introduction. One of the prohibition most applicable to the kitchen is Melacha of Bishul, cooking. Cooking is general classification that covers all methods of using heat to prepare food. This includes baking, frying, and roasting. Although the Melacha applies to non-foods as well as foods, we will limit our discussion for the preparation of the food. Okay, so let's try to understand. So right away, we're given the definition, what is cooking. Cooking is applying heat to prepare food, to change the status of the food. Okay, and it does not matter how you cook it, right? With what kind of heat, right? It could be radiator in your house. It could be on the sun, also cooking, right? And we say cooking, baking, frying, and roasting. Okay, so all of these categories. Let's continue. Number 2, description of Melacha. Definition. The halachic definition of cooking is using heat to alter quality of the item. So we should remember this, because we're going to use this concept many times. So one more time, to alter quality of the item. That's what we do. So basically, we improve the quality. This can be accomplished while cooking, baking, roasting, or frying. Okay. B. What is considered cooking, baking, roasting, or frying? Number 1, cooking. Any item that is submerged in a liquid, there is a water, wine, milk, is considered cooked. This is true even if the food was baked in the oven, for example, rice. Many poskim rule that cooking an item in oil, deep frying, is also considered to be cooking. So let's try to understand. So cooking is everything with a liquid. Okay. So the examples that he gives: water, wine, and milk. Okay, no problem. And deep fry, we're going to say that deep fry is good. Also, is considered to be cooking. And and we're going to say that frying with a little oil, with some oil, not like we do latkes, right? So it's not a lot of oil. It's not like completely covered as well, but some oil. Like so I would say, is it cooking or not cooking? We're going to discuss it. Number 2, baking. An item is considered baked when placed in the oven. This is also even if a little oil is placed on a pan to prevent it from becoming burned or stuck to the pan. They usually use today like spray paint, spray oil, right? In fact, the item is considered baked, even if it is in a frying pan or pot and not in an oven, as long as the amount of oil is minimal and as just placed there to prevent from burning or sticking. So basically, you can, as I say, you can bake even on a frying pan. So the definition of baking is no liquid. No liquid. It could be, as they say, inside of the oven or on top of the stove. Okay. Roasting. An item is considered roasted when it is placed in an area of intense heat. There is right next to the oven fire. So, so roasting usually, if you have, like a standard oven, it would be like on the bottom. Placing cooked piece of chicken on top of the pot that is on the fire is not considered roasting. Okay, so I'm not sure why he gives this example, but so basically, so one more time. So roasting is putting like very very close to the heat. That's why in this in our stoves it has this roasting compartment on the bottom. So they say placing a cooked piece of chicken on top of a pot that is on the fire is not considered to be roasting. Okay. So basically, it's one of the ways how you would be allowed to warm up the food, to put something on top of the pot. Okay. Next one is frying. Number 4 is frying. There's a few different methods for frying food. A, small amount of oil. As mentioned above, pan frying an item with a small amount of oil is considered baking. Okay. Just one. So one more time, small frying. As mentioned above, pan frying an item with a small amount of oil is considered to be baking. Meaning, with a small amount of oil, you will put just a little so it would not get stuck to the pan and it's not going to burn. That's the definition. Deep fried. Okay. Deep frying is considered cooked as methods above. So basically, deep fried when it's completely covered with oil, so it's cooking. So on top on a frying pan, but with a little oil, it's baking. So on a frying pan, it could be whether cooking or baking, depends on the amount of oil. So here's what we were discussing before. C, medium amount of oil. Medium amount of oil. Food fried in a medium amount of oil, that is with more oil than just coating the pan, but not deep fried, is a subject to the dispute among the authorities regarding whether the food is considered baked or cooked. So basically, don't put yourself in this situation. The practical application of this distinction will be detailed later in this chapter. So just so we have a big picture, why do we care how the food is prepared, right? If we said before you're not allowed to cook on Shabbos, so what's the difference? The difference, as we're going to say before, later on, right? In which food you're allowed to warm up, right? And you have to warm up exactly in the same way as it was cooked or fried. So if it was baked, you can only warm up while it is baking, right? If it was cooked, you can warm up only while cooking. Not cooking, but we're going to see. So basically, there is no cooking after cooking, but it's a cooking after baking. So as we said, the definition of the word cooking is what is it? As we said, using the heat alter the quality of the item. So when you first boil something and then you fry it, so for sure you'll be changing the quality of the item. Okay. So C, food subject to the prohibition. The Melacha applies to all solid and liquid foods. Even foods that are edible in a raw state, for example, most fruits and vegetables, and liquids which feeds for drinking while cold, for example, water and milk, are subject to prohibition of cooking and may not be cooked, baked, roasted, or fried on Shabbos. So very clear, right? So it's all of the solid foods and all of the liquids we are not allowed to cook on Shabbos. Okay. If we what we discussed in the previous classes, so we said if we start the process before Shabbos and it's continuous Shabbos, that's a different story. So we're talking about from the beginning. It's not allowed. D, sources of heat. The Melacha of cooking is separate and distinct from the Melacha of kindling. So of course, for cooking, not always for cooking you need kindling. You might kindle only once. You kindle on the fire once, and you can cook many times. Right? It is not prohibited to cook. It is prohibited to cook even with the flame that was kindled before Shabbos. So flame does not make any difference. So those are two separate melachas. So just because there is a flame does not mean that we are allowed to cook. But the same token is forbidden to cook on or near any source of heat. Okay, so any source of heat, what does it mean? Whether it's actual flame or electric range. Hot plate, cracked pot, or urn. Cooking with a microwave or oven is also prohibited. So all of these sources of heat, I mean, what did it say? So one more time, let me list them. Actual flame, meaning the gas stove, and electric range, hot plate. So with this hot plate, so people sometimes people buy this fancy hot plate and have this regulator. So you can cook with that hot plate. Maybe it's going to take a little longer time, but for sure you can cook it. Right, crack pot, of course, or urn. In urn, I mean, you just put water and it can boil for sure. You put raw water, it's going to boil. Cooking with a microwave, okay, it's forbidden. It's understandable. Furthermore, immersing food in hot water or inserting it in a heated pot that was removed from the flame can also consider cooking. So basically, what does it say here? So if we have hot water, even hot, let's say hot soup, right? We have hot, very hot soup. You just took it off the blech, right? And if you put the raw vegetables, they're going to get cooked. Or even piece of chicken, raw piece of chicken, it's going to get cooked for sure, right? So, and in some instances, they say even an empty pot. Okay. This type of cooking is called cooking with something that was heated by the fire. Okay. These methods of heating food is discussed extensively in chapter 3, meaning next chapter. So meaning not on a source of the fire itself, but on a vessel that was heated on a fire. If possible, if it is possible to heat water by mixing it with chemicals, thereby causing the chemical reaction. There is a dispute among the contemporary poskim if this is considered cooking, and if it is forbidden on Shabbos or not. One should consult halakhic authority for a final ruling. So basically, there is I know at least one company that does it, Labriut. So basically, you buy it. It comes like packaged dinners, right? The portions. So you put in a special bag, right? And you put some they give you this bag, right? You put this container in the bag, and you have this special liquid. So you put this liquid in the bag, you close it, and it starts like a chemical reaction. So with all of the evaporation and stuff, and in a few minutes you have a very hot very hot meal, basically. So it is also, of course, there's no flame, there's no electricity, nothing. That's why they say it's questionable, but it's from chemical reaction. But for sure, this chemical is very hot. This back is very hot. It's good stuff. If you go in summer, if you're somewhere outdoors and you want to eat the hot meal, it's very good. Okay. I think in the military they gives this. Not kosher style, but not kosher style. Okay. E, the heat of the sun. Cooking in the heat of the sun is not included in the prohibition. So let's see. Of cooking. Okay. It is therefore permissible to take a raw egg and place it outside with intention of cooking it by the heat of the sun. Very interesting. However, the sages forbade cooking in a sun. Cooking on a substance heated by the sun. For example, placing an egg in the water, placing an egg in the water heated by the sun. So basically, you in the summer it's very hot. So if you put it in a bucket with the water, right outside, or it was there. So if you put the eggs, so they're going to cook for sure. For sure, they're going to cook. So our sages forbade one more time cooking on a substance heated by the sun. So you're not allowed to cook eggs, for example, but not on a substance heated by the sun. Okay. The sages feared that if this would be permitted, people would mistakenly think that cooking the food in a substance heated by the real fire, talados Haish, is also permitted. So basically, I'm not sure how then you cook. Maybe if you put on a plate, if you put these eggs on a plate and put it outside, and then they're going to cook like that, maybe that would be permitted. Okay. So summary. The Melacha of cooking applies to the solid and liquid foods. So always remember solid and liquid foods. It is forbidden with any source of heat, even it was ignited before Shabbos. So this, some people get confused. They say, no, but I did not light the stove. It's two separate prohibitions, right? Not before Shabbos. And it does not matter if it's with the actual flame or with electrical heating element. Okay. So even if it does not touch this element, so it does not make any difference. There is this distinction between frying, cooking, and roasting. There is distinction. And roasting and baking. Though all of these actions are forbidden on Shabbos, all of these actions forbidden on Shabbos, cooking by the heat of the sun is not included in this prohibition. So in case of the need, so we can cook on a sun. Okay, continue. Part number 3. What degree of cooking is prohibited? So as we said, there is always our sages give us maybe not exact, but some definition. What degree of cooking is prohibited? There are several differences between solid foods and liquids with regard to the prohibition of cooking. The first distinction concerned the point at which these items are considered cooked. Solid foods. The Torah prohibition. According to the Torah prohibition of cooking the solid foods, for example, meat, kugel, fish, so those are solid, right? Is not only forbidden. It is not only forbidden to cook the food completely, but even cooking the minimal degree of edibility, that is forbidden. So basically, of course, different people like different degree of cooking, but minimal degree already forbidden. So what does it mean? How much is this? This degree of cooking is referred to by the Gemara as like the food of Ben Drosai. Ben Drosai was a thief, which was always on the run. He always cooked his food only until it was barely edible. So, people were after this guy ben Drosai, and he was able, what a life, right? Okay. So he would cook food only barely edible. So our sages today, they say it's 1/3 or 1/2, but we're trying to follow the stringent opinion. So in this book, in general, in life, we're trying to follow the stringent opinion, meaning that most of the poskim would be on our side. They would agree, yes. If you go by this, for sure it is cooking. Or other prohibitions also. There is a question among the poskim whether this level attained with the food is 1/3 cooked. This is when it has been heated for 1/3 of the normal cooking time, right? So if it's for the cooking time 1 hour, so 20 minutes. So if he cook for 20 minutes, according to the strict opinion, so it's already cooked. I mean, it's not raw already. It's not to your best preference, but you can cook. You can eat if you're very hungry. You will eat. Or 1/2 cooked. There is a cook to the 1/2 of normal time. So that's already like much more edible. For example, if it would take 2 hours for a certain food to be cooked, starting from when the food reached the temperature of Yatzel Bo, see below page 17, we're going to get to it. So Yatzel Bo, it's already, just so we understand, it's a minimal temperature with which the food is going to cook. So until the water or whatever or stove reaches this minimal temperature, the food is not considered to be cooked. Cooking. The cooking process did not start. Okay. Then after cooking the food for 1 hour, the food would be considered half cooked. Right? So that's the definition. So first, so it's not from the second, as we said, that it heat like for example, somebody who wants to boil potatoes, right? So it's not from the second you put potatoes in the water. No, it's actually from the time when the water got to a certain degree. So we're going to check, right? What is Yatzel Bo? So it's a temperature capable of cooking. Okay, so basically, if we said half, if he cooked for 1 hour, that's it. He's out. Okay. Okay. Then after the cooking the food for 1 hour, and the food would be considered half cooked, after 40 minutes, it would be considered 1/3 cooked. Right. So we said we calculating from 2 hours. Okay. So 40 minutes, it's 1/3. We follow the stringent view and consider 1/3 cooking violation of the Melacha. So since, as we said before, this is biblical Melacha of cooking, so we're trying to go with biblical, especially we're trying to go stringently. Okay, but in cases of the need, as we're going to discuss, it's like, I don't know, we're going to give example in some desperate situation. So we say, okay, let them cook up to 1/2. Okay. Nevertheless, a food that has already been cooked, like the food of Ben Drosai or more, is still subject to the Torah prohibition of cooking. It may not be cooked to yet greater degree of edibility, up to the point of the fully cooked. However, in the event that one took food that has reached the level of Kemachal Ben Drosai and cooked more, the food may still be eaten. So let's say it's very important point. Let's try to understand it. So we're talking about the food. This what is it called? Ma'achal Ben Drosai, right? This definition is 1/3 or 1/2, right? So we say if he cooked before Shabbos, well, 1/3 or 1/2, more lenient opinion, of its readiness, right? So under the like normal circumstances, we're not allowed to continue cooking because it is improvement of this food, and it would taste better and look better and everything would be better. So we're not allowed to cook. But under the certain circumstances, our sages say that they would say that even half cooked, right? It's already cooked, so you can warm it up. Okay, so let me read just to confirm this last sentence. However, in the event that one cooks food that had reached the level of this kemachal ben drosai and cooked more, the food may still be eaten. So under only some exclusive circumstances. Okay, so continue. So and under normal circumstances, you can continue cooking. For example, if you put something in your slow cooker, right? You have a slow cooker and you put some beans and potatoes and you put pieces of meat half an hour before the sunset. Of course, it's not going to be ready like when the Shabbos starts. There is no way, right? For meat, for beans, for all these things to be ready. We all understand that. But since we started the process before, so we can continue. So it's more properly that it would be at least 1/3 ready. Right, so don't do it right before the Shabbos. But in case of the need, you can do it right before the Shabbos. In case of the need, cooking the fully cooked food to improve it. Okay, once the food is fully cooked, most people consider it's edible. Cooking to the further is not included prohibition of cooking, even if it will become softer and tastier. Therefore, a fully cooked cholent may be removed from the fire on Friday night and returned with condition of Hazara. See chapter 6. We're going to discuss. I'm going to explain with you. Even though the cholent will become better by returning to the fire. Okay, so let's see. So we say, okay, after the food is cooked completely, so we can apply our formula as we said before. There is no cooking after cooking. So if according to most of the people, right, they say, okay, that's edible, that's good, that's it. But even though maybe if they would cook longer, it's going to improve. Not maybe, right? In most of the dishes, it would improve, but there's no problem. So there is no problem. Okay. So an example that they give. What we do, we actually don't eat cholent, but we eat soup. So we have this. No, that's not how we eat soup. Okay, so if we have slow cooker with electronics, but before that we had slow cooker without any electronics, right? So without like simple slow cooker, so basically you can take this insert out from when cholent or soup is completely ready, so you can put soup in slow cooker. You can do whatever you want with that, right? You can serve from that pot and put it back into slow cooker and then close the lid. There is no problem. Even though tomorrow is going to be totally different taste, there is no problem. Okay, so let's see. Number 2, Rabbinic. Okay, so yeah. So this Hazara is laws of returning to the fire. So basically, there are a few conditions. So you have to hold it in your hand. You have to always remember to return it. You cannot return it to the open fire and stuff like that. All this very interesting example conditions. Okay, continue. Number 2, the Rabbinic prohibition. In order to prevent any possible transgression of the Torah prohibition, the sages added the further restriction. By Rabbinic decree, it is forbidden to place any uncooked food item, even for a short while, in a hot area where it could eventually become cooked. This decree was enacted out of the concern that the person may forget and remove the food before it is cooked. just 1 second. Thus transgressing the Torah prohibition. So basically, in some areas, I would say, let's say, I think very good example, next to the stove. It's not on a stove, it's not on a blech, it's net, but very close. So, but it is so close that even your countertop is hot, basically, right? So maybe it's not going to get cooked very soon, very fast, but eventually, meaning in any period of time. So if there is a potential for this item to get cooked, we're not allowed to put it in that area. That's a rabbinic prohibition. In practice, therefore, one may not warm up any raw, or so we're talking about raw. So you can warm up the cooked food, but we're talking about for raw food is forbidden. They say even for a moment, because why? You might forget, and next time you remember about it, it's completely cooked, which is a problem. So one more time, in practice, therefore, one may not warm up any raw or partially cooked food on any heat source that is capable of cooking that item. The permission of the methods of the warming up food on Shabbos will be discussed in chapter 3 and 4. So it's the next chapter, how we can warm up. So I think that's, this is introduction, but this third chapter, I would say, the most important, how you can warm up the food. Okay, next one, liquids. At which, so all of this 1/3 of degree or 1/2, right, which is more lenient, we were talking about only about solid foods. Now we're talking liquids. At which point the liquids considered cooked. The term liquid includes any food that flows and does not retain its shape when placed on a flat surface. Right, so okay. There is dispute among the authorities regarding the question at which point a liquid is considered fully cooked. Some authorities rule that liquid must reach the boiling point of 212 Fahrenheit. So it's 100 Celsius, right? Boiling point. Okay. To be considered fully cooked. Okay, but not okay. So one point where it's completely cooked for a liquid when it's boiling. Okay. According to this view, if pot of hot water that did not reach the boiling point is removed from the fire, the liquid is not fully cooked, and the pot may not be returned to the fire. Some poskim, however, rule that a liquid is considered fully cooked when is reached Yad Soledas Bo. So there is a huge difference between the first opinion and the second opinion. So first opinion is a boiling point. Second opinion, as below in our other classes of laws of Shabbos, Yad Soledas Bo. Yad Soledas Bo when your hand recoils, it's much less temperature. Okay. So continue. Number 2, scalding temperature as pertains to the liquids Yad Soledas Bo. Okay, so what does it mean? The literal translation of Yad Soledas Bo is the degree of the heat from which the hand recoils. So you touch the pot and it's very hot, so your hand recoils. There is a temperature so hot that upon contact with the source of heat, a person reflexively draws his hand, withdraws his hands. Okay, this is also described in the Gemara as temperature at which the heated water could scald the baby abdomen. So if somebody put on a baby abdomen, that's the baby is going to get burned. Okay, continue. The exact temperature of Yad Soledas Bo is in question. Though Maran Hagaon Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal ruled that the temperature is 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 110, which is 43 degrees of Celsius. Okay. So continue. So 212 is 100, and 110 is 43. Okay, no problem. Okay, so they say, so Moshe, for instance, itself said that it's 43, must be considered Yad Saledes Bo. He stated that only the temperature of 160 degrees of Fahrenheit, 71 Celsius, can be regarded as definitely Yad Saledes Bo. Thus, depending on the case, the most region of these two measures must be followed. So we're going to see when to apply what. We always go by a rabbinical decree, right? So we see what Rabbi is saying. Ordinarily, the lower temperature represents the stringency. The stringency meaning do not warm up to 43, right, degrees of Celsius or 110 Fahrenheit. Okay, according to heating, it says here. According to heating liquids to 110 of Fahrenheit must be treated as violation of the Melacha. So the lowest temperature, it's for us, it's trying to go stringently. In the coming chapter, however, we will see the cases in which the setting 110 is applicable. Since the dispute we're discussing now, at which point the liquid considered fully cooked revolve around biblical prohibition, we follow the stringent view and do not consider liquids fully cooked until their temperature reaches the boiling point. So now we say, second. So one more time. Since the dispute we're discussing now, at which point the liquid is considered fully cooked, right? Revolves around biblical prohibition. We follow the stringent view and do not consider liquids fully cooked until their temperature reaches boiling point, meaning 112 and 100. Okay, so only when they boil completely, right, we say that they're cooked. Otherwise, they're not. However, to preclude any transgression of the Torah prohibition, the sages forbade warming liquids to any degree of the source of heat that could possibly cook them to the level of Yad Saledes Bo. Therefore, one may not place any liquid, even momentary near the fire, if it could become heated there to Yad Saledes Bo, 110 degrees of Fahrenheit. Okay. So 110 degrees of Fahrenheit and 43 of Celsius, as we said, is a minimum. And 160 Fahrenheit and 71 of Celsius is definite. Okay, so we're trying not to warm up until this temperature. Reheating cooked foods. Next one, right? Foods that were once completely cooked and were then allowed to cool may be reheated in certain instances. This will be discussed later in page 22. So we're going to get to it in this chapter. Okay, summary. The Torah prohibition of bishul is cooking. Forbids cooking solid foods to the level of foods of ben drusal. There is a minimal degree of edibility, 1/3 cooked. Okay, so as we said, so we're going to go, even though there is a different opinion, so we can rely only in case of you. So, but now we have to remember 1/3. And the liquids to the point Yad Saledes Bo. So Yad Saledes Bo is cooking. Below that, it's not cooking. In practice, however, it is rabbinically forbidden to place any uncooked item, even for a moment, near the source of the heat capable of cooking that item to these levels. Okay, so basically, we're talking about solid foods or liquids. Doesn't matter. If you put a glass of water or something next to the source of heat, it can get very hot. Okay. Or on a blech, for example, blech is covered, and you have four spots for grids. So you put fire only under one. So even if you go like the furthest away corner, it's still very hot. So you're not allowed to put water there. Okay. Part number 4: accelerating of cooking process. So let me check time a second. Okay. Accelerating the cooking process. Accelerate the speed at which something will cook. Also, will add the Melacha of cooking. Right. Therefore, the item. Therefore, an item already on a flame may not be treated in a way that it will cause it cook to more quickly. Obviously, it is forbidden to increase the intensity of the flame or electric heat, as it well as the Melacha of kindling. Chavara. In addition to Melacha of cooking. However, there are additional methods of accelerating the cooking process, all of which are prohibited. The following are some of these methods. So we say cooking is forbidden, and even if let's say we started the process before Shabbos, and we say let's say it was half ready, 50% ready, right? And you want to continue cooking on Shabbos, right? So even though you're allowed to do that under circumstances we're going to discuss, so but you cannot make the fire bigger or electric. You cannot make it bigger because larger, because it's going to cook faster for sure. Other methods: changing the position of the pot. Moving the pot closer to the fire will definitely cause it to cook more quickly. Therefore, any food on a stove that is not completely cooked may not be shifted to the position close to the fire, even if the fire is covered by a blech. Doing so will add the prohibition of cooking. Change the position of the fully cooked food is discussed in chapter 4, and we're going to discuss the reheating. So they have a blech, right? So usually people leave only one burner. I mean that's enough, and they cover with a blech. What is a blech? We're going to discuss as a sheet of metal. In our case, it's aluminum, right? And so you basically keep only one burner going, but the whole sheet is going to warm up. So basically, for example, if you put it you put this pot that is not completely cooked, not on top of the fire where the most heat, but on a side. So if the food is not completely cooked, you're not allowed to shift it to the place right above the burner. Because why? Because of course it's going to get very hot. So you're going to accelerate the cooking, and this is forbidden. Continue. So it's one method of accelerating. Second, B, reducing the amount of food or liquid in the pot. Reducing the amount of food in the pot causes the remaining of the content to cook more quickly. Therefore, if food is in a pot, is not completely cooked, it is forbidden to remove portions of the content. For example, one may not take cholent from the pot for a Friday night unless it is completely cooked. The prohibition, the proper procedure for taking fully cooked cholent described in chapter 6. We're going to talk about, of course. Similarly, it is prohibited to remove some water from the urn that has not yet reached the maximum temperature, as doing so will cause the remaining water to boil more quickly. Okay, so let's try to understand what they're saying here. There is so if food is completely cooked or liquid is completely cooked, there are methods by which you can remove some of it. So, for example, you have a kettle on the blech, so you can remove it. You can drink, pour some water. You make yourself tea, coffee. There is no problem. Enjoy, and you can put it back, as we're going to discuss. But if the water is not completely cooked, right? So, for example, if they want to drink tea and they just put it on Friday, I don't know, 5 minutes before the candle, like I don't know, a few minutes before the candlelight, right? And it did not boil yet. For example, women, they don't want to eat home. Women is not obligated to go to synagogue. Usually they don't. For example, a single lady, right? So a single lady, she's going to make her own kiddush. There is no problem. So, and she can eat right away. If there is a family and she's going to wait for her husband to come from home, that's a different story. It would take him an hour, maybe to finish Mincha and Mariv. By the time he walks home, he talked to other guys and stuff like that. So the water is going to get boiled. But if she's alone, so basically after the sunset, she can do kiddush even before the sunset. So basically, the water in this kettle is not did not boil. So where's the method? If you want to drink this tea, so you have to pour out some water. So if less water is in the kettle, it's going to boil faster, which is I think everybody knows. So that's what is not forbidden. Why? Because you accelerate the cooking. That's a second example. And example that they give you with the cholent, I mean, it's exactly the same concept. For example, you don't need so much, so you're even ready to cool it off and put it in the refrigerator and cook it off. Cook the second portion on Sunday, right? So you don't need so much. But since it has not cooked completely, so if you remove, let's say 1/3 of the cholent that is in slow cooker now, so the rest of it is going to cook faster, which is absolutely forbidden because heat, the amount of heat is the same, but the quantity of the food is different. Next one, C, steering. Steering also accelerates the cooking process. Therefore, it is prohibited to stir in a pot of partially cooked food or a liquid. So you cannot stir like with any implements. This prohibition extends even if a pot has been removed from the stove. The stove, the pot. Okay, so even if we remove from the stoves partially cooked, we're not talking about completely partially cooked food, so you're not allowed to stir. Okay. Continue. The partially cooked contents may not be stirred as long as they remain at temperature Yad Seladas Bo. So this Yad Seladas Bo temperature, it's a temperature with which the food is going to cook. So if it's less than Yad Seladas Bo, it's not, the intensity is much lower, right? So meaning that it's not going to cook and you can stir because it's not going to help you much. Okay, that's the thing. Removing partially cooked food from a pot that is off the fire is similar to the stirring and therefore forbidden by the sages. So okay, so what did they do? Okay, so this very interesting case. So they removed the partially cooked food from the fire, and now okay, so but they want to eat it, right? So they wanted to take off some food. For sure, they don't need it today, right? And they want to stir it. So of course, the remaining of the food is going to cook faster because, as everybody knows, on the bottom it's much hotter than on top. And by stirring, so you mix in the food, and if on the bottom it was ready, on the top it was not cooked completely. So by you stirring, it's actually accelerate the process of cooking, and that's why it is forbidden. Covering the pot. So that next one. Covering the pot also hastens the cooking process. Therefore, one may not cover the pot or partially cooked food. So let's see the commentary and we explain. This applies with a pot that has been removed from the stove, even to the pot that was removed from the stove, as long as the contents still temperature of Yad Seladas Bo. So as we said, even if you remove the pot from the stove, so we did not say, sorry, I say this. No. So the pot itself is very hot and capable of cooking until it cools off, right? So in some sense, this pot itself is a source of heat, and it's going to cook for some time we're going to give a definition for how long later on. It's going to cook the contents. So, and that's why when we cover with the lid, of course, it's going to, like the pressure, the temperature is going to stay in there, and it's going to cook faster, which is forbidden. If the pot that has that is sitting on a source of the heat become uncovered, it is forbidden to replace the cover unless the food is completely cooked. So why? Because this covering is going to accelerate the cooking, and it's not allowed. If it's completely cooked food, that's a different story. They're allowed because it's hot, and they say there is no cooking after cooking. Even if source of the even the cover is lifted momentarily, one may not replace it on a pot. So meaning we're talking about not completely cooked food. Okay, so if they took it out, so they cannot put it back. Practically speaking, therefore, one must beware of lifting the cover of any pot on a blech unless one is certain that the contents is completely cooked. So if you're not certain they're completely cooked, don't lift the cover. But the good rule is make sure that all of the foods are completely ready before Shabbos. Don't go with 1/3, 1/2. That's the proper way. Make sure that it's everything 100% ready. So cook on Thursday, on Wednesday, whenever you need. Women usually cooked on a Thursday night. I don't know when they sleep and how they sleep. That's a miracle on its own. Okay. E, closing an oven door. Closing an oven door causes the interior temperature to rise dramatically, therefore, thereby advancing the cooking process. Therefore, an open oven door may not be closed if any food is in oven is not completely cooked. So, of course, you have an oven. You open the door, the temperature goes, I don't know, 150 degrees or 200 degrees. As soon as you close, it goes up. So it's like also accelerated the cooking. So if it's not completely cooked, don't open the door. Okay, so let's just read this part and we're done. Accordingly, one should beware of opening the oven door if there is a food inside that is not fully cooked. Okay. So as we said before, make the best way to make sure that everything is cooked before. But in case of the need, so if you need to cook on Shabbos, right? So I mean, continue, not cook. That's for sure. Continue cooking on Shabbos. So just do not open the door. Regarding opening the door on Shabbos, see chapter 27 about electrical appliances. So there is a problem with this also. So even in an oven, you have to have blech, meaning that this fire must be covered. All right. So continue. Summary: any action that causes food to cook more quickly is itself it's considered act of cooking. This includes A, moving pot closer to the flame. B, removing some of the pot's contents. Right, so it's going to be less cook faster. C, stirring the food in a pot. D, covering a pot. E, closing an oven door. None of these activities may be done if the food is not completely cooked. So I think we can stop here. And if you have any questions, what we said this time or last time, please go ahead. Or any topic, basically. Go ahead. Any question? No? Okay, so we can stop here then. No problem. Until tomorrow, Beezrat HaShem, same time. Thank you. Good night. Stop recording.